I love Irish rap, but I also own a Vita, several Blackberries and a Wii U, so I obviously have a soft spot for lost causes. When the most recent Versatile album came out, I did something I haven't done for a while. I went back and watched one of their earlier videos, Whopper Trips, and it's remarkable to look at now, not just because of how their new videos are more technically competent, but also as part of the ongoing story of Irish hip-hop's evolution and its different iterations over the years since. Whatever the scene was then when Versatile began, it's different from the scene they now inhabit. This song is 10 years old, and it made me wonder, what was the Irish rap scene then? What are the scenes that precede the one we have now? Looking at 2013 when Versatile began, what else was happening at this time? Certainly things one can point to was this was the year Reggie Snow released his debut album. This was also the year when battle rap channel Don't Flop Ireland, also known as The Fighting Irish, a channel which made names out of figures such as Nugget, Redzer, Nash, Jambo, came to an end, uploading their last video. This channel had its fans, with the Nugget Redzer battle being a particular highlight. It's a battle from a bygone era, but it resonates still with the people making Irish rap music today.
Like when I was like 14, 15, I was like, there was like nugget like battles being sent around and shit.
See, this is kind of hurt, kind of like when I was dissing you, because if that was amateur, how come you were texting me saying, this isn't cool?
Redzer versus Nugget.
I put no effort into this. I written this is fucker. I didn't think you'd show up, because you're a chicken, Nugget.
It's just the best fucking rap battle I think I've ever heard. Like,
this fella got all original. Call me Chicken Nugget. His missus calls me KFC when I finger lick her bucket.
And that's what put me onto battle rap.
When Sarah was his girlfriend and everybody else's.
It's an incredible battle. It's so fucking rudimentary.
He was only getting them hyped, said he'd be bigger than Biggie, and well, I guess I was right.
But it's exactly what battle rap should be. It's just fucking lads pulling the piss out of each other for the fun of it in front of people laughing.
So face facts, Nugget. I've done 100 gigs incredibly. When you record one verse, you use 100 gigs of memory.
Alongside performers like Dusty Residents, The Animators, which Mango and Mathman were a part of, Costello, and Lethal Dialect, these were arguably the face of Irish hip-hop of this era, and they got very respectable views. A lot of these figures have carried on, as has Irish Rap Battle Leagues, but now on YouTube, the DFI channel that's uploaded more recently is the Disability Federation of Ireland. Some of the performers featured in DFI were the subject of an episode of RTE documentary series Reality Bites, and while I never saw the full broadcast version of this, the full version was entitled Ireland's Rappers and was narrated by Damien Dempsey. But from the first cut available on YouTube, it's apparent it played right into the hands of naysayers and those who would seek to dismiss and belittle any Irish people who tried to rap. This was not like the 2019 Origins documentary, which featured artists dressed in their good clothes in the courtyard of the Irish Museum of Modern Art. This was showing rapper CO being told by his mother that he needs to move out.
My firm belief is, as a mother, I am not doing you any favours by allowing you to stay here. It's keeping you sheltered, it's keeping you cocooned. You're not learning anything, you're not growing as a person.
yeah.
All I'm enabling you to do, when I really think about it, is to keep you unmotivated.
It wasn't until I started researching this video that I remembered seeing some of this documentary when it aired, and what I remember was the scene where CO shows you his bedroom while he's talking about playing Pez.
This is the nest, yeah. This is where I hang around most of my time. My ma wouldn't want us coming in here, you know, but sure, this is what it's all about, you know. Letting us into the life, the mind, the big soil, you know. That was a flyer. See that flyer there? That was the first real flyer I had with my name on it. So I had to rob it.
This was one of my first exposures to this world. Hardly what one could call an endorsement for embracing your passion. Now, people give RTE a lot of stick, but they do watch it. So it's safe to assume that the reason people think the whole scene is cringe is because they're thinking of this.
This is Irish hip hop with a finger's twist.
This.
I'm the best MC in North Kerry.
Or this documentary.
Automatic cardiac arrest, chest bleeding, flesh eating dead demons, inject semen in the women of today so the kids we get are evil.
In the comment section of an Irish Times article about the documentary, CO left a reply mentioning that he shot hours of footage talking about his music influences, even mentioning he was doing a course at the time, but it seems they wanted to portray him as a layabout. Also, Rob Kelly, who at the time had done quite well for himself, chimed in to say that it was set up to be just like that. Kelly, who had already done okay and had appeared on Fire in the Booth, the first Irishman to do so, would not have fit in with what the narrative of the show was attempting to be. And in a sense, it could be said that the director Rory McCluskey succeeded. In the Irish Independent Review, writer Pat Stacey he did fess to finding the documentary funny, even down to the idea of these men having stage name. And his takeaways were CO's mother telling him to move out and Redzer's girlfriend telling him to pack it in.
Go and get a job, you red bastard.
Yeah, like, well, sometimes I do get those days where I do kind of question him on it and say, like, when are you going to go out and get a job or whatever, but...
He said he did warm to these men by the documentary's end, but not to their music. He doesn't have to like their music, but he also effectively said he had a tin ear for hip-hop in general. The fact that The Independent got somebody who didn't even like hip-hop to review this is indicative of the fact that this documentary was playing to a skeptical audience, so it would have to have been something really special to put it up to the status quo. So in the case of the likes of Redzer, CO and Nugget, perhaps this show was more of a hindrance than a help, and I'd love to hear their reflections on this now. But it's been said there's no such thing as bad publicity, and I've been told that off the back of this show, a promoter did pick them up to do shows in England. But that's something I was told, not something I read. Make of that what you will. And while DFI came to an end this year, a seed was planted for one of the anthems of an era of Irish rappers yet to emerge. This was the year when a movie called The Hobbit: The Desolation of Smaug came out, a movie which ended with an Ed Sheeran song, I See Fire. A month after its release, it was remixed by Kygo, and this eventually became the backing beat for a song, No Justice by MC Pat Flynn.
It was 4 in the morning running through the fields. He knew soon enough the gods would be hot on his heels. He's hope his father rots in hell, a fucking dirty prick. Hope he's in his prison cell getting 12-inch dick. He was 30 mopping home and his legs were giving up. So he smashed the car window when he hot wired it up. That's the joys of the streets, all the things that you learn. He put his foot to the floor and made the tires fucking burn.
Released in 2015 in the midst of the MC wave, No Justice is a song which provokes strong reactions from people, be it getting emotional over the lyrics or wincing at the sight of straight drinking Tesco value vodka. Welcome to the Salty Spittoon, how tough are you? With a whopping 7.5 million views, this has to be one of the largest Irish rap songs in history. It's one of the defining songs of its era, the MC era, which had kicked off a year earlier when school student Jack Lynch and Southeast beast Pat Flynn both released freestyles to the same backing beat. And off the back of this, a whole slew of young lads wanted to be the next big MC. Notoriously, a lot of them dressed and looked the same. They all tried, but none of them came close to the views of what was for several years the biggest Irish rap song on YouTube, Get On Your Knees by MC Pat Flynn.
One time, to the beat one time.
Jump on the mic to rock the riff in. Shout going out, my name is Pat Flynn.
Get On Your Knees was a huge hit and also remixed several times, but most notably by Adam Kennedy and Aaron Brady on the Irish-run EDM channel Futurism, the same channel which gave us one of the greatest versatile tracks that they didn't even make, Kyle Meehan's Who Robbed the Hash from the Gaff remix, which was leaps and bounds better than Versatile's original song. Get On Your Knees was a big Irish rap song at the time, but the other MCs didn't do too bad either. And it was this period that gave us such classic videos as MCs Anonymous, Pat Flynn, Lynchy Lynn and Conor Breen diss, Leon Ward, Zach Walsh and Conor Breen diss, Subscribe and Like, Diss to Conor Breen by MC Gary, MC Conor Breen diss by MC Fahy, MC Towney, Conor Breen diss, and MC Wardy, Conor Breen diss. Seriously, what did Conor Breen do to all these people?
Conor Breen, you're a handicap, you're a dirty gummy, you're not worth a slap.
Part of why these went viral was they were unintentionally funny, apart from this one, which was intentionally funny.
Heading back to the gap with your nagging in your pocket and your hash should be a crack. You're an actual sap, all you want is your hole. Up in the room thinking nobody knows, but I know what you're like. You can say you're a dyke when you're out in your tights getting high as a kite. No new night teas and popping knees like sweets, and when you offer her a roll you should get on her knees.
But something people give them in retrospect is these performers use their native accents, a topic which would become a key feature in the era that succeeded this one, and the foundations for that scene were already being built. While the MC craze was popping off, a new collective Micah Blaze was formed and produced such performers as Jafaris, who at the time went under the name Profound, Jordan Wilson and Sequence. At this time, Sequence, Wilson and O'Shane Malcolm were key figures behind Nameless Music, a dedicated YouTube channel for Irish rap, which would act as a blueprint for a project Sequence would later embark on. Nameless attempted to be a space to share Irish rap music videos and freestyles, and it did its best, but it was totally overshadowed by Irish rap movement. When you wanted to see MCs, Irish rap movement was the place. However, while I was under the impression at the time that these rappers were consciously working with the channel, but I subsequently learned that wasn't the case.
At the time, 2015, 2016, when these tunes were coming out, I thought the Jews were all working with Irish rap movement and consciously putting your stuff out there. Is that what it was, or were they just taking your stuff off Facebook?
It's not to point a finger or try put a blame game on anyone. Now, I did upload my content to Facebook. Thought my page to the Lynchy page. A lot of this stuff I wouldn't say plagiarised, but a lot of it was just taken from the Facebook and uploaded then onto various YouTube channels. People were uploading it to their follow channels. Individuals were just taking it from the Facebook and throwing it on YouTube, which didn't bother me really as such, because in a way I was young at the time, so I was just trying to get as much publicity as possible.
Irish rap movement is more infamous for the teen MCs, but it wasn't just that. Your typical IRM video came in two varieties: teen MCs in tracksuits shot on portrait mode, or music videos which actually had some effort in them, like Larry Crack, Lethal Dialect and Crack Appeal. But those two styles of videos merged into one for one of the channel's finest uploads.
First person and curse in the streets. You might want to purchase some hearse for your fleet, cause we climb to the top like Vardy. We do part 3 on the beat like Marshy. Try par me, think you're quite hardy. Better sharpen up cause it's word of a nice party.
After a spot on grime institution Risky Roads, LDK dropped this iconic video and it was pretty damn great.
What? Better get your rhyming in place or be finding a 9 on the side of your face. I'm attacking your crib with a Mac on my hip. Get a bat to the rib and a smack to the lip. Immaculate with every track that I spit. If you're acting a bitch, get cracked in a bits. You're not dodging me but I'm making a slip. Take a shot at me and I'm breaking your hip. MCs are fake and blatantly shit. LDK carry weight when we spit.
The naysayers couldn't criticise their ability, all they could do was make fun of their appearance.
Cause he just has not got the face for it. This guy right here looks like the type of guy to go to an all-Irish school.
This also coincided with the time Irish rap began to break out into film and television. Tommy KD was in Love Hate, Lethal Dialect was in Cardboard Gangsters, Mango and Mathman were in Dublin Old School, and Sing Street introduced Jafaris to the country at large, and even featured Casper Walsa Versatile, even if only as a background actor. A lot of these guys featured on the Cypher series on 2FM with Mo K, and Mo K also featured LDK. But while LDK were one of Irish rap movement's shining moments, they also saw it out the door, with their track The Return being the last upload on that channel in 2019. IRM is kind of forgotten about now, and given how low quality a lot of the uploads were, a lot of them seemingly being ripped from rappers' Facebooks, it wasn't the best light for the scene to be shone in. But it brought some much needed centralization to what was, and remains, a very fragmented music world. It also has to be said, if you took the sub-base of the channels that succeeded it and put them all together, it still wouldn't be where Irish rap movement's sub-base is. Further proof that there's a wider audience to be tapped into. And while Irish rap movement's sub-base has stagnated since they stopped loading 4 years ago, thousands of people still flocked to that channel to watch the old videos. While LDK were there when Irish rap movement ended, what succeeded it was two channels dominated by the genre they popularised, Irish grime, and the two places where it was shared were the new go-tos for an easy way to find new performers. First came Dear Fact TV, an attempt to replicate GRM Daily for Ireland, and then a year later New Era TV, with the big wig behind that being Sequence from Nameless. When these channels were at their peak, they were uploading a new video a day almost. Just when you thought you'd heard of every Irish rapper, another one popped up. Music videos got a lot better around this time, with professional directors like Reggie Albert and Ed Did It, but some of the best music videos always came from Dublin rapper Kojak, who did incredible work with just him and his friends and without the big two. With these two channels, the stage was set for a rivalry, but that's not how it panned out. For one, neither channel was landlocked. They both uploaded videos from all over the country, but primarily in Dublin. They both did music videos and freestyle series, New Era Flow on NETV and Bars at the Sesh on DTV, but also there was no exclusivity with the artists. Artists that did one typically did the other. So you never met somebody who exclusively liked one or thought the other one was better. It was impossible to enjoy one without enjoying the other, because a lot of the time it was the same. Take for example Sia Babes, now known as Shorsha, and her Dear Fact video Hit My Line, and now take her New Era TV video Hit My Line. They're the same video. Now a lot of Irish rap beefs are just eye roll moments, but to me this is one instance where I wish it did exist. It would have given them both definition, a little competition would have gotten them to step up their game, and it would have inspired more passion from their fans if there had been more contrast. But contrast was to be found with something that got a lot better in this era, podcasts and interviews, and with two shows taking the spotlight. The 091 show with Pádraig Farron and Sold Out with Shane McCauley and the other guy. There was a legit conversation to be had here about which show was better. Not because the hosts had any issue with one another, but because Sold Out had better production values and bigger guests, but the 091 show had a better host. Either way, these channels became great spaces to hear conversations about the scene and discussions about where it was at. And along with it came a discussion which tended to go hand in hand with the Dear Fact New Era uploads, the accent debate.
People not using their own accent wrecks my head. Imagine I came out like with a London accent trying to do rhyme. I look like a tick. We speak in a fucking mental way. Like, we speak English arseways backwards because it's like the Irish format and English speaking. So this is a great way that we can flip the script on it. The same way the London Caribbean guys like flipped it to their own kind of weird language. And people really responded because they go, he's being himself, like that's really who that guy is.
Those who were there said early Irish rap from the 90s and 2000s had rappers occasionally performing in American accents. Whether it's America or Britain, the case remains the same. Performers take influence from anywhere but Ireland, and it became most pronounced with what was popularised in this time, Irish drill. You know you're watching Irish drill when the video title looks like a Wi-Fi code. And with Irish drill came an Ireland rap beef that had passion the likes of which hadn't been seen since Pat Flynn and Lynchy, with a feud between AV9 from Balbriggan in Dublin and A92 from Drogheda in Louth, and it was A92 who, to my knowledge, overtook Pat Flynn to become the most viewed Irish rap act in the country, with their 2020 freestyle Plugged In, coming to us courtesy of the deepest voice in the Republic.
My hunting come in like Corona if it costs twice in this 10 you pack. They say that we come like athletes, circle your block when we do them laps. All I attack tryna get this pig in, all I attack and the fields don't lack. He thought he was big like Max till I pulled out the stick tryna swing for backs.
With the success of Irish drill, it caught the attention of Noisy, who interviewed performers such as Ink, Dubzino and JB2. They also visited Deerfack and spoke to them. However, a Deerfack performer they overlooked was Vasello. Understandably so, since all Vasello had done was a bars in the sesh which hardly anyone saw. But a few months later, Vasello had later pioneered his own subgenre Gaelic drill with his track Dublin, released under his current stage name, Cello.
Yo, being from Dublin, but you don't know shit about me. I never been jail, never been OT. I'm on the seaside with my grafters beat. I got love for the boys on the seaside, cause seaside got love for me. Shots again, that's my clan, my family.
Dublin was a rare example of drill that just nailed it. If you hated English accents, he used his own. If you thought drill glorified drug dealing, he didn't rap about it. But drill wasn't the only genre to flourish in this time. All sorts of performers did well, catering to all kinds of interests and tastes. And with TikTok taking off, people began to listen to Irish rappers whether they wanted to or not. A lot of people probably don't know who Mac 10 Zen is, but they definitely know this soundbite.
We party hard, live life, love life, live large. Big tits, big hips, big arse. I drank dry every bar.
Another place where Irish rappers got a chance to shine was the Tommy Tiernan Show, featuring artists like Denise Chaila, Kojak and Mango and Mathman. But despite all the success, what was true 10 years ago remains true today. The story of Irish hip-hop is arguably a battle for credibility and acceptance, with victories consistently going to those who sought neither. Steve Brown may be the poster child for this now in the 20s, but this has been the case for a long time. One could look back to Big Brother Series 7 in 2006, where Glenn's Spiral Coroner showed off his tracks such as So Sexy.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the world premiere of So Sexy.
All the sexy girls on the floor, wiggle your asses a little bit more. Let me hear ya, yeah. We're in the moment, kissing your neck nice and slow down below. Body's caressing, you're a blessing, yeah. Lovely angel from heaven, have you ever been told I love your sexy pose?
Another Spiral song, Fingless, was a hit in the Irish singles charts. Spiral was used as an example at the time of novelty acts making it more difficult in a 2006 documentary, Urbanize. And Spiral was not the first. I'm sure there's several I've never heard of, but even 6 years before him was another novelty act who enjoyed chart success. Father Brian and the Fun-Loving Cardinals with the track Who's in the House.
I don't roar like a lion, I speak like a mouse, but you'll always hear me asking, who's in the house? Who's in the house? Jesus in the house. Who's in the house? Jesus in the house. Who's in the house? Jesus in the house. Well, tell me who's in the house? Only Jesus in the house.
According to Wikipedia, this act spawned from an Irish game show, Don't Feed the Gondolas, and the character of Father Brian was played by Brendan O'Connor, most famous for hosting the Saturday night show on Cutting Edge. Well, actually, that's not true. I know like 2 people who watched that. He's the guy from the Mace ads with the funny voice, and he was on the Late Late Show that time Pat Kenny was confronted by a man of the people.
You should have shaved before you did that, Brendan. How are you?
You're a censor. How dare you?
What?
Gayborn and you are, you're unstoppable arseholes. You arsehole.
Thank you very much.
You piece of shit.
Thank you very much. Now, would you like to leave?
But despite O'Connor experiencing success with rap music, it appears he pulled the ladder up after him, and he did not use his platform to help the scene unless I'm missing something. The same cannot be said for another novelty act from an RTE comedy show, The Rubber Bandits. One doesn't need me to tell them about The Rubber Bandits. You know all about them, but what you might not know is despite being comedic acts, they helped those who took it seriously. Blind Boy featured Re-Raw in his podcast, Blind Boy appeared in The Truth About Irish Hip Hop sitting next to Kojak, but even further back then, I first learned who Lethal Dialect was when FM 104 shared the Man or Myth video which Blind Boy took part in.
Oh, his lethal dialect? Well, his dialect is lethal, like, it means, like, poisonous language, poisonous words. I mean, like, his dialect is so lethal, like, if you wanted to go to one of his gigs, we'll say, like, you can't even get into the gig without a hard hat and a high-vis jacket, like. You know, it really is lethal. Like, I mean, like, if you want to listen to one of his CDs, you have to do a fast course on how to lift boxes. Like, fact. 100% fact.
The acts people listen to ironically or to have a giggle consistently got spotlight. Des Bishop's Lame Heart, Damo and Ivor, MC Decent, Top Notch, and more recently Irish Mike. And despite my personal desire to see the scene grow, I've no ill will towards any of them. They sought to entertain and it appears they succeeded. So to go back to my original question, what were the scenes that preceded the ones we have now? What is the story of the past decade of Irish rap? Well, the answer is I don't know. And for anyone who's prone to half-assed internet research, you won't find the answer on Wikipedia. If you go to the Irish Hip Hop Wikipedia page, the first thing you're greeted with is a box telling you the entire article needs to be rewritten. And it does. It's an embarrassment. And I cannot give the answer from personal experience because I wasn't there, nor did I want to be. I used to be one of the doomsayers. I thought Irish rap was cringe. I only watched it to make fun of it. There was always great performers doing incredible work, but I just watched and rewatched a few bad apples and ignorance was bliss. And I'm not ashamed at all to say I used to be that person, because if you want the scene to blow up as much as I do, we'll need people like me to see the errors of their way, because there's not enough people in this country to keep playing to a niche audience.
In my personal opinion, okay, I don't think the Irish scene is going to blow as everybody says, okay, because and the reason why is simply down to the population in this country. You look at all the major hubs like for music, you have like the likes of, you know, America, like New York, California, UK, London, all these kind of places. Like, what's the one thing they all have in common? Huge populations, and they have big audiences, and with audiences comes money. And that's why, because labels have to invest in artists, yeah? So if there's no money, if the artist isn't going to generate money, then they're you know what I mean, they're not going to elevate. I think the only thing that is possible for Ireland is having artists blowing. It's not going to increase the overall, you know what I mean, like attention towards the scene, because, you know what I mean, like if you listen to the likes of like Officer or Mr. Affiliate, for example, it doesn't mean you like, you know, other people in the country, for example. It only means you like certain artists. So it's not gonna blow, yeah, but there definitely will be certain artists that will.
The notion that Irish hip-hop is 1 year away from blowing up has been with us for a while. There's too many performers and stories throughout the decades for me to fit into one video. But if I'm confident I can get my research right, maybe I'll get to them. And who knows, maybe even some of the rappers might like to talk to me. What I will say is, as a kid in my neighbour's house watching Keenan and Kel waiting for my parents to pick me up, the notion that the spiky-haired man from the intro would one day collaborate with two Irish guys who live just an hour away would never have crossed my mind. I am on Gap Year forever, and this has been Airhead Takes.